Hey, what's going on everybody? How are you guys doing? It's good to see you guys again and welcome back to another video. With Megas finally making a return next year with the release of Pokemon Legends ZA, it is very likely that we could possibly see some new Pokemon we all love finally get a new form with Mega Evolution. So today, I am going to be going over some Pokemon I could possibly see getting a Mega Evolution, or Pokemon that I would like to see get a Mega Evolution, starting off with the Kanto region. But before we get into Kanto, I just want to make this known in this video that in order to save some of your guys' time and save some of my time, we're not going to be going over every single Pokemon in each region that I think should receive a Mega. We're just going to keep it to 3 regular nominees, and then we're going to have a couple honorable mentions, and that's going to be it. We're not going to have, 20 Pokemon for each one, so let's get right into this. The 3 Pokemon I believe we should get for Kanto region Megas would be Hypno, Raichu, and Arbok. The reason why I think Arbok and Hypno are very likely to get Mega Evolutions, or Pokemon I could see getting Mega Evolutions, is because they're 2 Pokemon from Kanto that really don't have any representation. They never got a G-Max form, a Mega form, or even an Alolan, Galarian, whatever form. If anything, I could possibly see them get a regional evolution or something, if they have those in this game, which would not surprise me if they would. But between those 2, that is the main reason I could see them be receiving a Mega Evolution. For Raichu, however, I just want to see the guy get a representation in some way, shape, or form. Yes, he's got an Alolan form, and it's cool, but why did Alolan Raichu get a Z move? Pikachu get a Z move, not 1, but 2, and a G-Max form, and this guy has nothing. He's got nothing, and I would love to see this guy with a Mega Evolution. You can see my bias towards Raichu, obviously. He's one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I like Alolan Raichu, but I want to see the original Raichu get some awesome representation, and I think a Mega Evolution for it is just perfect. And then for the honorable mentions of this region, I chose Nidoking and Nidoqueen. The reason why these 2 are on the honorable mentions and not on the regular list here with the other 3 is because they're 2 Pokemon I really don't see getting a Mega Evolution, but it's a really cool idea that they would, because they're 2 Pokemon that A, kind of deserve it, and B, it would just be cool. I just like to see it. Moving on to Johto, we have Xatu, Lantern, and Slowking. Xatu and Lantern are both here for kind of the same reason as Arbok and Hypno, and it's that they really don't have any representation with modern day Pokemon. So they're 2 Pokemon I would love to see get a Mega Evolution because of how cool their designs are in base form. And also Slowking is here because why did we give Slowbro a Mega Evolution and not Slowking? That doesn't really make sense. For Johto's honorable mentions, I actually have 3 Pokemon instead of 2 I'm going to go over. Those 3 being Magcargo, Crobat, and Kingdra. These 3 might actually be my favorite in the honorable mentions because they're 3 Pokemon I genuinely would love to see get Mega Evolutions, especially when it comes to Crobat and Kingdra. Crobat is in every single game, I feel like, and Kingdra really could just use a little more representation than just being a Seadra evolution from Gen 2. For Gen 3, I chose Tropius, Walrein, and I'm going to have a little fun with this one, Flygon. Tropius is here because it's a really cool Pokemon from Gen 3 that just unfortunately has terrible stats. And Walrein's here because it's a pretty cool Pokemon that I think would definitely benefit, obviously, a little more from a Mega Evolution. And lastly, of course, Flygon. I'm going to go on a small tangent about this one. The reason why we didn't get Mega Flygon in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire was that it was said to be they couldn't think of a Mega design in time. I'm sorry, but that's a shit excuse. That is, in my opinion, that's a shit excuse. Because you have so many cool or busted Mega Evolutions that honestly, you probably could have done anything and it would have looked fine as long as you didn't over-design it or do something too crazy stupid with it. But the fact that since they couldn't come up with a great design for it in time meant that they didn't do it should be all the more reason that Flygon gets it this time. I'm not hoping for Flygon in ZA to have a Mega Evolution. It just better have a Mega Evolution. It has been at least like 10 years since Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire came out. You have had enough time to think of a Mega concept for Flygon. Shit, most of your fans have done it by now. So yes, with Legend ZA, this is the perfect time for Pokemon to have their redemption and make us a Mega Flygon. Then for the honorable mentions of Gen 3, I have Breloom and Exploud. These two I really don't have a lot to say about other than they just are cool Pokemon that could definitely benefit off of a Mega Evolution. I don't see it happening or anything, mainly because we had a game based around Gen 3 Megas. So if they were going to do it, I feel like they would have done it back then, of course. Look at Flygon. But for these two, not really many people were pissed that neither of them got a Mega Evolution, so I'm not too worried about it. For Gen 4, I chose the three Pokemon being Luxray, Carnivine, and Frostlass. All of these three actually have three different reasons for being on this list. Luxray is just genuinely a really cool Pokemon that I would love to see get a Mega Evolution. Plus, it'd be pretty cool because Clement in the anime had a Luxray, but they just didn't have a Mega for it. So I feel like it'd be pretty cool if you gave Luxray a Mega in this game. Carnivine is a really goofy, cool Pokemon that I would kind of love to see get some representation of some kind. I really love Carnivine as a Pokemon, and I feel like giving him a Mega isn't necessarily needed, but it's definitely not, you know, unwelcome by me. I definitely would like to see it possibly either just get a regional or an evolution or something in the future. Give Carnivine something. The reason why Frostlass is on here is because I feel like it kind of got screwed over because Mega Gardevoir came out and then Mega Gallade came out and then Mega Glalie came out and they just did nothing with Frostlass, which they both have the same, like, generation difference with the new evolution and stuff, like Gardevoir being from Gen 3 and Gallade being from Gen 4 and Glalie being from Gen 3 and Frostlass being from Gen 4. So it really doesn't make sense why Frostlass just didn't get anything in this game. So that is why I think this is the perfect chance for Frostlass to possibly get a Mega Evolution. Then for the honorable mentions on this one, we have Gliscor and Floatzel. I really don't need to say anything about Gliscor and Floatzel because they're two very popular Gen 4 Pokemon that are really, really cool and I feel like would definitely benefit from a Mega Evolution. These are two Pokemon I'd love to see it happen. I'd love to. The three for Unova I chose are Reuniclus, Gigalith, and Golurk. When it comes to Megas in Gen 5, or just forms from Gen 5, the choices by Pokemon are very disappointing. Why did we give Audino a Mega Evolution and Garbodor G-Max form, and that's it? And for the honorable mentions of Unova, I have Chandelure and Gothitelle. For Unova, there's really no explanation for why all 5 of these Pokemon should get Megas or many others, other than the fact that we just got horrible representation with these forms for Gen 5, and also, why is there so few? They definitely redeemed themselves in Legends Arceus by giving us Hisuian Braviary, Zoroark, and then giving Basculin an evolution. But some of these Pokemon really didn't even need like type-changing forms or anything. They could have just used a boost in their design by Mega Evolution. So yes, Pokemon, I'll give you some credit by giving Gen 5 some good forms with Legends Arceus, but that's about it. And we'd love to see some Megas from this region. Next up, we have the Kalos region, which this one is going to be a little longer for a specific reason. The 3 I have for this list are Aegislash, Hawlucha, and Heliolisk. The reason for these 3, and also pretty much all the Pokemon I'm going to be going over from Kalos, is that if we had Megas introduced in the Kalos region, why did no Kalos Pokemon have it? Gen 6 is the only generation where the Pokemon from that region, or like the gimmick of that region, didn't get connected to the gimmick that was introduced. Plenty of Pokemon from Gen 7 got a Z move that was exclusive to them, and also Generation 8 Pokemon, a lot of them got G-Max forms. So not having any Megas for Gen 6 is kind of just dumb, and I feel like in this game this is a grand opportunity for you to make some Megas for that main region of those Pokemon. So for Gen 6, it really just doesn't make sense why we didn't get any Mega forms from Gen 6 Pokemon. The honorable mentions for Gen 6 are Gogoat and Noivern. But wait, there's more. For the last of the honorable mentions on this one, I have the Kalos starters. Like I said with the first 3, this all mainly just boils down to, we didn't get any Generation 6 Pokemon Megas. The only Pokemon from Gen 6 that even got a Mega was a Mythical, which is Diancie. Also, with Ash Greninja being gone from the main series games, this is the perfect opportunity to just give them Megas. As much as people love Ash Greninja, I personally just find it kind of dumb for the logic of it being introduced. I'm not trying to hate on Greninja or anything, because my favorite Pokemon gets dogged on all the time for having favoritism. But the main reason I feel like Ash got a form with his Greninja is just to give it some kind of mega form without even giving the other two any kind of form along with it. So it kind of all just blends into the argument of why didn't we just get some Pokemon from Kalos' Megas when, you know, they were introduced at the same time. I could talk about this just in general as a subject for an entire video. I'm not going to. Mainly because Pokemon has definitely fixed this over the years, and I feel like they might take the chance with this and fix it. For the Megas from Alola, we have Vikavolt, Turtonator, and Salazzle. Moving forward, the Pokemon on this list are probably all going to have the same reason for being on this list, and it's mainly that these are new Pokemon that we would all just love to see get Mega forms. Vikavolt, though, I will talk about just from personal experience, and it's that if they give it a Mega, give it a faster speed stat. That's really all it needs. Honorable mentions for this one, though, are going to be Mudstale and Crabominal. So the reason for these specific Pokemon are not just because they're newer Pokemon from after Megas were introduced, but they're also Pokemon from Gen 7 that did not get their own exclusive Z move either. Like how some Generation 8 Pokemon got their own G-Max form, and how some Alolan Pokemon got their own Z moves. Also, the only reason I'm sitting back this far is to flex that I have Hawaiian shorts on, that's it. Shoot, I look good though. I'm gonna keep this on for the rest of the video. For new Megas from Pokemon Sword and Shield, I decided to go with Graplocked, Obstagoon, and Boltund. I don't have any honorable mentions for this list. It's just going to be these three for Gen 8, and that's mainly because there's no other really Gen 8 Pokemon that I saw without a G-Max form that I would see needing a Mega form. Other than these three though, I would love to see with Megas. And I'm trying to stray away from Pokemon that already got like G-Max forms and such because, you know, they don't really need any representation with the gimmick because they already got it. And finally, we come to Generation 9. Also, I'm going to say this now. I really hope Megas don't make the game run like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did, because if so, this game is going to flop. But my Generation 9 picks are Bellibolt, Lowkicks, and Clodsire. This one was kind of hard to choose because I really don't see them putting many or any Gen 9 Pokemon into Pokemon ZA, so it's kind of hard to choose which one I think could possibly get a Mega, considering the generation just got finished. Bellibolt's kind of the goofy Pokemon that they could give a Mega, kind of like how Slowbro is, and Lowkicks is kind of the cool Pokemon that they could give a Mega, and then Clodsire is literally my own personal bias. Game Freak, make it happen. Alright, and that's going to do it for this video. Actually, I do have one more Pokemon I think will most likely, and if not, definitely receive a Mega in Pokemon Legends ZA. The Pokemon I think that is definitely going to receive a new Mega form within Pokemon Legends ZA is Mega Charizard Z, baby! That was a joke! That was a joke! That was a joke! Have a good night, and take care! Take care!